Welcome to ECCSC Live on CAN TV. I'm your host, Tyrone Muhammad, and I have today with me a special guest. Really need no introduction. Y'all know him. My brother, Wali Muhammad. How you doing, black man?
Welcome. Great, brother. Thank you for the great honor to be with you today on your show.
You're welcome, sir, and it's an honor to have you here because this is a lot of wisdom to my right here, people. I'm gonna get right to it because this is a serious opportunity and it's a serious issue that we've been addressing for the last 30 days now.
30 days.
So Friday there would be a protest, or should I say a demonstration, because we're not protesting anything. We're demonstrating our disappointment and disapproval of the DePaul University, shall we say, faculty or staff.
Yes.
So mistreatment of black women by using the word bitch in a classroom setting, with no justification for such word to be used in a classroom with 6 or more black women and a black man. So we are expressing outrage and disappointment that an institution like DePaul of higher learning, one of the biggest institutions that's Catholic-based institution in the country, would use such language and identify or to communicate a point in an academic setting towards black women, and in this case, a black man. So Wally, really, man, you're free to talk about it and express your outrage as well to the people that's watching, that's tuning in.
Well, again, my brother Tyrone, I'm very honored to be here with you and to have a moment to address your wonderful audience. The issue that my brother is referring to, we deem it to be a great insult, and we take umbrage to what was reported to us that took place in this quote-unquote institution of higher learning, end quote. Because these institutions were set up by tormentors to continue to make mental slaves of the students. In fact, the word education has a Latin root, edua, which literally means to train. So here, in this particular instance, you have the professor who is using what could be deemed easily as a bully pulpit to use a word to black women, 5 actually black women and 1 Latino sister who is original, and use the word bitch. Well, when my brother invited me to a meeting with the actual professor, she admitted that she might not have used such language in another room with another group of women of a different ethnicity.
That's right.
So she knew the connotation that this word had on our women. And though she came, which we thought was courageous, but it really wasn't, because she was defiant, she offered no contrition. She, in fact, only vowed that she wouldn't use it again. She never saw or admitted to any wrong with such language.
Right.
And our poor women who were there, in my view, they were so intimidated by the professor that even upon further review or investigation by certain members of the administration of DePaul University, they did not even admit that anything egregious took place.
Wow, yes.
Which is amazing. What that tells us is that they were more concerned with securing their grade from that professor than they were even at expressing any indignant feeling or any sense of outrage, because they wanted the grade. So my brother and others have decided to stand up, even though they may not want to, and it's not necessary that they do stand. We have decided to stand for them. And so my brother, his organization, ECCSC, which you see my shirt, his organization I'm a part of, have decided to hold a rally this Friday in front of the scene of the crime.
Well, which is Friday at 11 and 14 East Jackson Street. DePaul University. This is a university that has been honored with the name of what? Maggie Daley.
Richard and Maggie Daley.
Richard and Maggie Daley. But not just that. This is a Catholic university. Like Loyola, See, I'm wondering, the sisters, maybe they don't know yet, but they will after Friday. I'm wondering if the DePaul University black student athletes who bring millions upon millions into DePaul University to serve that community and to help to offset the cost and pay for the staff, know that professors are allowed to use BITCH in a setting or room full of black women and one Latino sister and a brother.
The Lady Blue Demons are a perennially ranked powerhouse in college basketball. In fact, I think they were the 2019 Big East champions.
Yeah.
So, are they BITCHs too? How much money do they bring to the university?
I need to check that out. We need to find out that. Follow the money. And then we'll probably deal with the outrage. If we follow the money, we'll deal with the insult. I guarantee you the money will follow the money, it will produce a change in the behavior and the attitude. Because at the end of the day, America cares nothing about their citizen, only about the funds or the money they can reap or resources off the backs and the lives of their people. Hence, Black death is big business in Chicago. Black prison industrial complex is big business across the state and in the county jail system. It hasn't changed. You haven't produced reformation. So that's big business for someone. Crime pays, it just doesn't pay us.
No, that's a great point, my brother. I'm glad you mentioned that, because we have to understand what is the root of violence. Violence is not the physical. That's not its origin. Violence begins in the mind with the thinking. Words are used to help form thought. So when you use words, those words actually help you to express yourself, and therefore you're empowered with the ability to communicate. So the word BITCH, if you look it up, you'll find that there's no connotation where BITCH is positive. Not nowhere. In fact, there's a website, onelook.com. I think it says that BITCH is listed in like 43, 44 different dictionaries, from computing to medicine to business. Not one of them has a good connotation.
Not even in business and medicine?
No, sir. So what were you trying to do, Professor? What were you trying to say to these black women?
She said we missed the context.
And I told her that there's no context absent of the census or the population to the people that you were addressing. So we
but in the emotional learning course, she made that statement in an emotional
intelligence, which is oxymoronic in itself.
Yeah, it is.
What is emotional intelligence? This is what they pay, and they have you, poor brother and sister, poor college student, they have you going into debt, borrowing money that you'll be paying back for years to come, and they feeding you this tapioca in school, this gobbledygook, emotional intelligence, and you pay for that. And you fall into debt to struggle with your college loan that even foreclosure or bankruptcy won't even allow you to get out from under that. You can't even get out up under your college loans in the name of bankruptcy.
But the fact that you are attending and a part of a university, a quote unquote prestigious university that don't see it as a vile insult for learning in a learning environment as prestigious as DePaul University claims to be, to use a word in a connotation like that, or whatever narrative she want to, as I say, deceptive intelligence that she want to use to justify her use of that word to room for the black women and one Latino woman and a brother. To even use that language in that room and then say the context. There's only one context I can think of when I think of slavery and the making of slaves and the bitch and the mating of our women with bucks to create more slaves and bucks, female dogs. You tell me.
It, Brother Tyrone, is the power of the unspoken command. That's what that is. Mm-hmm. When you use that word to that audience, you're telling them this is who you are. Because at a certain point, those who are actually skilled in the knowledge of the mind know that the mind cannot distinguish between what is real juxtaposed to a conversation. This is what, while you watch violence on TV, you go out and emulate it because your mind cannot make the distinction between that which is not real and reality.
Yes.
You can't do it. So when you call a person this who's already been inclined to receive that kind of verbal abuse, then you're making them more susceptible eventually to accepting more abuse, molestation, rape, sexual predators. That's what's on the news today. Sexual predator. But you're not a sexual predator because you touched the woman. You're a sexual predator when you call her out of her name. That's predatory in nature.
When I think about that sexual predator, and I think about the Catholic Church, and that all the behavior and egregious behavior, the vile and the filth that follows the Catholic Church. Now this is a DePaul University that's sanctioned by Saint Vincent de Paul, who is a saint of the Catholic Catholicism. He's a saint listed in the walls of the Vatican, and this is sponsored. This is a sponsored school with the people's money, tax dollars. They get all type of breaks as a result of being in the school, and I'm surely being named this particular school on this particular building on 14th East Jackson.
Yes.
That we will be there 11 o'clock Friday. This particular building has Maggie Daly and Richard M. Daly's name on it. And I'm sure millions of the city's dollars has been, maybe billions, have been piped into this institution. And we pay to be called BITCH in an institution that purports higher learning. But yet, the professors are allowed to denigrate the student body. I really would like to know what the coach think of the DePaul University women's basketball team, which I would try to reach out to and get a comment or even a statement. what they think about a professor using that type of term to black women when they have a basketball team full of black women that represent that school.
That's a very interesting point, brother, because, you know, these are things that they don't want aired.
Right.
None of these institutions really want
Make
their
it go
dirty
viral.
laundry aired.
Right.
You know, we're demurred, we're esteemed, you know, we're prestigious in scope. We don't engage in such talk, such evil talk. We're
Sound like
esteemed.
they got a rap video going on.
But we fall up under
Right.
the authority of the Archbishop of Chicago. I wonder, Mr. Archbishop,
Uh-oh.
do you condone such language out of an institution that is really under your auspices? I wonder, do you condone that, Mr. Archbishop? Because, see, we got the history of the Archdiocese in Chicago. We got the history of the Catholic Church with regard to sexual abuse of black people. We got the accounts. We ran those stories in our paper, The Final Call. We ran a 3-part series on poor black people. There was one account, Brother Tyrone. It was so horrific. This girl was being raped by priests. Even when she was on her menses, they would take her out of school and rape her. She was so destroyed.
Catholic priest.
Without question. She was so destroyed that she every so often was literally sticking her head in the oven to commit suicide. We knew young people who were raped by members of the church, priests, who ended up committing suicide. We would advise all of your audience to go to www.finalcall.com, put in the search engine Sins of the Father. It's a 3-part series, brother. Some of the stories were so horrific, they would literally make a brass monkey shed tears. So here you are now, Mr. Archdiocese. Are you sanctioning the language that this professor at this quote-unquote esteemed university is using? Do you sanction this kind of abuse, which will only lead to physical abuse of our women?
Yes, they sanction it. And it's no doubt about it. Because even with all the ills, there has been no reparation by the Archdiocese or the Catholic Church or the Vatican for the abuses of black men and black women at the hands of priests. I hear of a lot of lawsuits, and when we look at the violence and the condition of our people in these various communities in Chicago, the Archdiocese is not active or present in our community to produce change in the ills that we face and deal with every day as a group organization and as a collaboration of different partners to try to curb gang, drugs, and violence to get our brothers and sisters back on the right path that they didn't create themselves.
No, it was the Catholic Church. History tells us it was the Catholic Church that was the vanguard for slavery.
Come on, man.
It was the Catholic Church that was the vanguard for colonialism.
Come on.
It was the Catholic Church that said that it's not incompatible to make them slaves and make them Christians simultaneously. It was you, Catholic Church. You did that. You enslaved our fathers. And now, through your institutions of so-called higher learning, you continue to enslave us even up to this very moment with this education that you give us that really is of no benefit. And then to add insult to injury, you make us pay for this with our own tax dollars.
Listen.
I'm going to tax you your money.
I'm going to put you in debt.
Look, I'm so skilled, I'm going to tax you.
Right.
Then I'm going to give it back to you. Then I'm going to stand around the corner and find a way so you can give it back to me. Now that's skillful. I'm going to tax you. I'm going to take your money. I'm going to give it back to you. Then I'm going to find another way to get it through another hand. Man, I thought y'all said taxation without representation is tyranny.
Well,
we live under tyranny.
Always. We've been saying that as ECCSC, we've been saying that there's no taxation without representation because the formerly incarcerated and those who are incarcerated whose family pays taxes receive no representation for their sons and their daughters coming home back into a community. You give immigrants, let's say this, and God knows I have a solution for the immigration problem, but they're not going to ask me. You get immigrants more credence and reverence and moral and support than you do people who are descended from slaves, who are trapped in communities in an environment that you put them in.
Yeah, but you know what though, Brother Tyrone? We got to climb up.
Let's go.
Because, see, our tormentor is smart. Audience, I want you to listen. I want you to listen. Do you know why Mexico went to war with America in 1848? It wasn't over land.
No,
America was angry with the Mexican government because the Mexican government
black people
was harboring runaway slaves and they refused to return them back to America. So America went to war with Mexico over that very issue. So today...
So are you telling me the Mexican brothers, that dark skin that they wear, they don't even understand or know their association with the African slave?
They're victims of institutional racism. See, what the enemy knows, he knows that there is going to be a link up between the black and the brown. So he keeps you perpetuating the myth that we're at odds with one another, because when the black and the brown unite, he knows his rule is up that day. But you, in your ignorance, brother, sister, you act like you have a problem with your own brown family. Don't you know you are the original people? Every people that walk this planet came from you. Those are your product. But you say that, but you don't have any practical knowledge on how it works. So we continue the enemy's plan and we pit the black against the brown against the black, when we are going to form a strategic alliance. And then it's
by
over.
Force or choice.
Oh, it's happening right now.
Listen, what I'm understanding is this. That one act about DePaul University, calling them women black sisters, bitch, is about to spiral into something that they couldn't even imagine.
Right.
You know, and this is a topic y'all didn't expect to hear this today, but your prestigious institution, you all pay tax dollars towards, is the same institution that has the audacity to disrespect our women, our sisters, our community, our neighbors. We have to come together and let the DePaul University know that's an outrage and we do not accept it. So ex-cons for community and social change, you know our motto is gonna take us to save us. It's not about waiting on benevolent white people, benevolent pastors, politicians, so-called business leaders to save us. It's about us coming together to save ourselves.
That's right.
And every week we'll be here with a different topic on that line, but until we bring DePaul to his knees of apology and reparation.
Absolutely.
We're going to continue to be at that front step, 14 East Jackson. We will
Friday at 11 o'clock.
We will be there and protest or demonstration in regards to that language BITCH used towards black women in a learning environment, academic setting. So thank you for tuning in. This is ECCSC. Thank you.